were led to your crucifixion like a gentle lamb to the slaughter. The word of God, Lord Jesus Christ. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, Lord.
Reclining at table with his disciples, Jesus was deeply troubled and testified, Amen, amen, I say to you, one of you will betray me. The disciples looked at one another at a loss as to whom he meant. One of his disciples, the one whom Jesus loved, was reclining at Jesus' side. So Simon Peter nodded to him to find out whom he meant. He leaned back against Jesus' chest and said to him, Master, who is it? Jesus answered, It is the one to whom I hand the morsel after I have dipped it. So he dipped the morsel and took it and handed it to Judas, son of Simon the Iscariot. And after Judas took the morsel, Satan entered him. So Jesus said to him, What are you going to do? Do quickly. Now, none of those reclining at table realized why he said this to him. Some thought that since Judas kept the money bag, Jesus had told him, Buy what we need for the feast, or to give something to the poor. So Judas took the morsel and left at once, and it was night. When he had left, Jesus said, Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and he will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little while longer. You will look for me, and as I told the Jews, where I go, you cannot come. So now I say to you. Simon Peter said to him, Master, where are you going? Jesus answered him, Where I am going, you cannot follow me now, though you will follow later. Peter said to him, Master, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for you. Jesus answered, Will you lay down your life for me? Amen, amen, I say to you, the cock will not crow before you deny me 3 times. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it can be a tough one. Looking at the apostles themselves, I see Jesus was always speaking in parables. So we have an advantage over them because we're reading all these texts when all had taken place. And so we can have an idea of, the death and everything and the resurrection, all that is already in our mind. But these guys did not. So we can understand, he was speaking to them in this kind of languages. And indeed, he was fulfilling the prophecy of Isaiah already 700, 800 years before his time. But the Jews were very, very good. They learned the scriptures off by heart. So they knew it. They knew the scriptures. But when it is unfolding before them, they couldn't grasp it. And it's difficult to grasp except the Spirit of God is there for one to grasp it. And the Spirit only came after Pentecost, the day of Pentecost. So, so a lot was just like in the incubation. So the Lord called me from birth. This same, text in Isaiah usually is, also seen, even looking at John the Baptist. The Lord called me from birth. From Elizabeth's womb, the Lord gave the name, called me from birth and gave me my name. He concealed me in the shadow of his arm, so the Lord himself was hidden for several years, 30 years, hidden in Nazareth. You are my servant, and through whom I show my glory. Through whom God will be glorified. So, he is the servant through whom God will be glorified in us, in all of us also. God desires to be glorified. And the glorification of God in every individual is man and woman fully alive and active. And we are only fully alive and active when we say yes to God's will for us at that moment. Saying yes to God's will for us. And he said, for the Lord, yes, he said, I thought I had toiled in vain. And that's, toiling in vain and for nothing, uselessly spent my strength. It could be applied to Jesus right there and truly sure. Here he is with 12. One of them is already betraying him for money, right there. So it's kind of, you look at your life, it's coming to an end. Yet it looks like everything was useless. It looks like you spent your time doing nothing because what do you call it now? The fruit of the success, there's no success, there's nothing there. Blessed Teresa of Calcutta said, we have only been called to be faithful, not to be successful. Fidelity, faithfulness. So in our world today, our world is about the propaganda, our world is about the show, the showmanship. Our world is about, how many people do you, what is the statistics? Okay, what is the poll? What does this look like? How many people were you able to, the company or, those type of things? How many people did you reach? God and his son Jesus Christ is about faithfulness, fidelity. And fidelity is about the little things. Fidelity is about obedience. Fidelity is about trust. Even though everything seemed to look like failure, victory, glory. So the cross of Jesus is Jesus' complete yes to God the Father. He did a complete yes to God the Father. Obedience to God the Father. What does that mean for you and I? Sometimes that decision that calls for the greatest amount of trust, that decision in our lives that really makes us very elastic, that decision that usually takes us away from our comfort zone, that decision which stretches us completely and we think it is impossible and we literally die. That is the decision that actually is the will of God for us at that moment. But guess what? We love the comfort. We love that favorite spot on our comfy, just lie and I recliner. I put my feet up, you say. I put my feet up. That singular position. Just like, yeah. But if we live that way, we are not living, we are existing, we are not moving according to the will of God for us. Jesus quaked, Jesus sweat of blood. Jesus said, if this cup may pass me by. He said all that, but he finally said, but not as I will, but your will be done. In the little details that happens in our lives, in looking around and looking out of the window and you're driving in your car and you see someone who needs help and you just, those little act of decisions that makes us to die, that drops our own schedules and focus on the other, those decisions are those are the places where Christ's glory, God's glory comes forth in my life and in your life. Coming away from the comfort environment, coming away from that comfortable where we just fix ourselves and not launching out into the deep. That is dying in itself. That is abandoning the will of God for us. And then we stay too long with the Joneses of life, and we stay too long in that comfortable zone. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself. So Jesus is called Jesus because he will take the sins of the people away. Jesus was born incarnate, took flesh in order to surrender that flesh to the Father. So his yes to the Father from the very beginning of saying, yes, I will go. I will go, Lord, on your behalf. I will go to these people and save them. That salvation comes only through the cross. It is difficult. But as the way, the truth, and the life, every one of us here, every one of us, we will continue to walk towards our cross like Jesus walked towards his cross. And it is only at that cross that we receive salvation like Jesus. But it's going to be in union with him. We will not be alone. We always fear to be alone. But it is in the aloneness that we can find Christ. It is in the aloneness when all seem to have failed that we can find him. Peter said he wants to die for him right now. I lay down my life for you now. And I know I say that all the time. But the next minute, I'm doing something else. So there's a Peter in all of us at the peak of prayer. When you are in the most lofty moment, you just find yourself like the Spirit of God, everything just connects with you. You say, Lord, tell me where to go now, I'm ready to go. I will do anything for you. Isn't that how what it is, among lovers, huh? I will do anything for you. Name it, kind of, like name it. Some people say, I'll travel the world for you. Go the whole extra mile for you. That's what happens. The secret of love is that expression. When the crosses of life begins to show themselves forth, it looks a little bit scary. But if we remember all that happened in the honeymoon, that time when we're just there at the peak of prayer with the Lord, that helps us to go through the drudgeries and the crosses, the daily crosses that the Lord places on our path. Jesus shows us the way. He accompanies us on the way. He not only leads us, he stands by us. And every grace that we need, he provides us through the Immaculate Heart of his dear mother. Every grace is dispensed through the Immaculate Heart of the Blessed Mother. And so, all I pray, and I wish you pray also, is, Mother, give me the grace of now. I don't want for tomorrow. That's too much to ask for. Give me the grace of now. That time when it looks like we're going to cave in, ask for it. Give me the grace of the present, Mother. And she will never fail you. No, she will never fail. Let us rise in prayer.